Yo Gotti just sent his personal lawyer to represent Big 30 in a federal kidnapping case, and that move is saying everything he refuses to say out loud. That's what we're getting into today. Let me set the scene because the timeline of what just happened in the music industry is so wild that if you wrote it as a movie script, people would say it was too unrealistic. Early 2026, Pooh Shiesty walks out of federal prison after serving over 3 years. He's 25 years old, hungry, and immediately charts again with FDO, his very first song back, debuting at number 22 on the Billboard Hot 100. The fan base is still there, the momentum is real, and right in that same window, Yo Gotti and CMG come calling with a record deal offer. A new home, a fresh start, Memphis looking out for Memphis. That's the dream scenario for any artist coming home from a bid. Then on January 10th, 2026, Pooh Shiesty allegedly walks into Luminous Studios in Dallas, Texas, with an AK-style pistol and 8 co-conspirators, forces Gucci Mane to sign a contract release at gunpoint, strips him of his Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and a Louis Vuitton bag, and gets his father arrested as a co-planner. And now Gotti, the man who was about to be Shiesty's new boss, is watching all of it unfold from the outside while his own personal lawyer is sitting in a Dallas federal courtroom representing one of the co-defendants. Gang, let's break this all the way down. To understand why Gotti's response to this situation hits different, you have to understand the full picture of who Yo Gotti is in the context of Memphis rap. This is not just a label boss, Gotti is the architect. Of course, the music group CMG is the institution that put Memphis rap on a mainstream level in a way nobody had done before. Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngster, ESTG, 42 Doug, Mozzie. Gotti built that roster from the ground up and turned his city sound into a commercial Ford. He has been through his own legal battles. He has lost people close to him. His own brother, Big Juke, was murdered in January 2024. Gotti knows what real loss looks like. And when he extended interest to Pooh Shiesty after his release, that wasn't just a business transaction. That was a Memphis OG reaching out to a younger Memphis artist who had been through it. That was a cosign that carried cultural weight far beyond any contract number. And Shiesty was all the way in. Reports confirm that in the early days of 2026, right after FDO charted, Shiesty had officially garnered significant interest from CMG and that a deal was being put together. For people in Memphis, this made complete sense. Shiesty had always had more stylistic alignment with the CMG sound than with Gucci's Atlanta 1017 energy. Pooh coming home to a Gotti deal felt right, felt earned, felt like the story was going to have a good second chapter. And then the January 10th situation happened, and the CMG deal became the very reason some people believe Gucci wasn't willing to let Shiesty walk. That's the knot at the center of this whole story. According to complex reporting and multiple industry sources, many in the culture believe Gucci was unwilling to release Shiesty from 1017 Records precisely because losing him to CMG, to Gotti specifically, would have stung in a way that losing him to any random label wouldn't. Because Gotti and Gucci have had a strained relationship going back years. This wasn't just business, there was history there, and Shiesty was the piece in the middle. Now here's where Gotti's response gets layered. He hasn't gone on Instagram Live screaming about it. He hasn't done press runs talking about the case, and a lot of people in the comments are reading that silence as coldness, as Gotti distancing himself from Shiesty now that things went left. But then you look at what Gotti actually did, and you realize the silence is not abandonment. It's strategy, because within days of the DOJ announcement on April 2nd, 2026, it came out that Yo Gotti's personal lawyer stepped in to represent Big 30 in the federal case. Not a court-appointed attorney, not some random defense lawyer, Gotti's own personal legal counsel. That is a statement. In the culture, when your people are facing federal time, the way you show up is through action, not through Instagram posts that can be screenshotted and used against you. Gotti sent his lawyer. That's the response. That's Gotti saying, without saying a single public word, that he is not leaving Memphis out to dry. And the legal situation is serious, gang. I want to make sure y'all understand exactly what these men are facing, because the numbers are not small. All 9 defendants have been charged with federal kidnapping and armed robbery. Maximum sentence upon conviction, life in prison. Pooh Shiesty has already been denied bail twice. The judge flat out told him, "I can't find any conditions to offer that haven't already been granted to you." Translation, you were on home detention with an ankle monitor and you still allegedly did this. There are no conditions of release that the court trusts anymore. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., was initially granted bond but has since been charged separately. Big 30, who prosecutors say was at the door the entire time barricading it so nobody could escape, was initially granted a $100,000 secured bond, but federal prosecutors immediately appealed that decision, arguing he poses a flight risk specifically because of his record deal. They cited his music contract as the reason he has enough resources to flee. That's wild. A man's record deal became evidence against him getting bail, and Shiesty's defense is pushing back hard on the government's case. His lawyer, Bradford Cohen, came out swinging after the bond denial. He said publicly, the FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said. He pointed out that there is no physical contract and evidence, no video of a contract being signed, no recovered weapons, no recovered jewelry. His exact words, they have no contract, this mystery contract, they have no video of this alleged signing, they have no guns, they have no jewelry, they have none of that physical evidence. Then FBI Special Agent Pamela Hansen actually admitted during the detention hearing that while Gucci Mane did provide a statement to the Dallas Police Department, the FBI had not yet formally interviewed Gucci or any of the other alleged victims themselves at that point. That's not nothing. The defense is building a narrative that the government moved fast and loose, and the trial hasn't even started. This case is going to be a war in that courtroom. But let's get back to Gotti, because his position here is genuinely complicated in a way that nobody is fully talking about. Think about this from his angle. He was in the process of signing Pooh Shiesty to CMG. Whether that deal was finalized before January 10th or still being negotiated is unclear, but the interest was confirmed and public. That means Gotti is now connected to this story, whether he wants to be or not. His name is in the reporting, his label is in the subtext of why Gucci allegedly wouldn't let Shiesty go, and his personal lawyer is in the courtroom defending one of the co-defendants. Every move Gotti makes from this point is being watched and interpreted. Every post, every interview, every silence. And so far, what Gotti is choosing to do is show up where it counts, the legal defense, while keeping his public positioning clean. That's not cowardice. That's someone who has been around long enough to know that federal cases are not won on Instagram. Rick Ross actually summed it up better than anyone in his own reaction to the situation. Ross went on Instagram stories and said, I don't like it for either side. Goo Up most definitely didn't deserve that, and I don't want to see this for the little homie Pooh Shiesty. Then he went further and said he had actually gotten Gotti and Gucci on the phone together previously, trying to plant a seed for them to eventually work things out. Ross said he envisioned a CMG and 1017 tour one day. His message to anyone feeling stuck in a contract was direct. Nas can't take it to the streets. Nay gon' get a life sentence with that BS. Let's get to the B's. Negotiate. That's the lesson Ross was trying to pass down, and it's the same lesson that apparently never reached Shiesty before January 10th. Meanwhile, the culture is fractured. Moneybagg Yo, who is on CMG himself, posted a throwback photo with Shiesty and Big 30 with the caption, "Free ball, free Shiesty." He's not backing down from his Memphis people. ESTG has been quiet, but his alignment is not hard to read. And all of this is happening while Gucci Mane dropped a diss track called Crash Dummy, directly addressing the situation, letting the world know exactly how he sees Shiesty after all of it went down. The man he discovered, put on, made a millionaire, and whose cousin he also signed, came back at him with a Draco, and now Gucci is putting that energy into wax. Here's the bigger picture though, and this is what y'all need to sit with. Pooh Shiesty pleaded not guilty on May 8th, 2026. He walked into that Dallas federal court and said not guilty to every charge. His father said not guilty. Big 30 maintains his innocence through his attorney. The trial is ahead of us, not behind us. And the evidence the defense is raising, no physical contract recovered, no weapons recovered, no jewelry recovered, a 3-month gap between the alleged incident and the arrests. Those are real questions that a jury is going to have to answer. The government has the ankle monitor data, the cell phone records, the Greyhound bus records, the surveillance footage, and the social media posts of alleged co-conspirators wearing stolen jewelry. That's a heavy package. But heavy packages have been defeated before when the defense is sharp enough and the physical evidence has gaps. What this whole situation has exposed more than anything is the dark side of the music industry contract system. Pooh Shiesty was 19 years old when he signed to 1017. He was from Memphis, had never had a major label deal, and had no real legal representation to fight for favorable terms. By the time he came home at 25 with a charting record and a CMG offer on the table, he was looking at a contract he signed as a teenager, still controlling his career. Whether you agree with anything that allegedly happened in that Dallas studio or not, the contract trap is real. It is an industry-wide problem that has stolen decades of earnings from artists across every genre, and Shiesty is now allegedly looking at spending decades in a federal prison over it. The cost of that choice, if the allegations are true, is incomprehensible. Gotti hasn't forgotten any of this. And the move he made, sending his lawyer to stand next to Big 30 in a federal courtroom, tells you everything about where he stands without him having to say a single word. In Memphis, loyalty isn't announced, it's demonstrated, and Gotti demonstrated it. Whether that is enough to help these men beat these charges is a question only the courtroom can answer. But the story of how a CMG deal that was supposed to be Pooh Shiesty's fresh start became the centerpiece of a federal kidnapping case is one of the wildest chapters this industry has ever written, and we are not even close to the end of it. Stay locked in because this trial is going to change everything. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single update when this case goes to court.